They're not technically the things that we should have done. We've overextended ourselves. We pretend we take care of the elderly, but we really don't. At the same time, we have a responsibility to take care of our veterans, and we really don't do a very good job there. So what do? We crimp and, on some of these programs, but I don't think we have to attack those programs, because we have so much of a margin to deal with overseas expenditures. That should be where the American people come together and say, look, it's time we change our way. We're spending $1 trillion a year maintaining an empire that we have no right to maintain around the world. We have troops in 130 countries, we have 700 military bases, and we try to tell the world and the Iraqis, oh, we're not over there for the oil, and we're just here to make you a democracy, and then we're going to leave. By building an embassy, the biggest in the world, and building 14 military bases on their land, just offending them and their religious values, and we're there to do good. That's like the people here at home that want to regulate your social life and say, we're doing it for your sake because we want you to be a better person, and we're going to tell you what you can eat, drink, and smoke because we know what's best for you. That whole idea is wrong. It's un-American. It violates the principles of freedom, and we have to restore and understand the true nature of what a free society is all about. That means you own your life, you own your liberty, and you own your own responsibility what you do with it. Troops home, first thing is, or the initial thing that would happen is that it would send a message to the world that we would be less aggressive, we wouldn't be threatening people, we wouldn't be proposing the next country we're going to bomb. Probably the most serious threat to our country today, economically and with our personal liberties, is the fact that there's a bunch of them in Washington right now, in both Republican and Democratic parties, who are planning and indicating that we're supposed to go and bomb Iran. It makes no sense. So just by coming home, we would send a message to the world that our attitudes are changed. We want to talk to people. If we could talk to Khrushchev at the height of the Cold War, when he had 40,000 nuclear weapons, I would think that we should be confident in ourselves enough to talk to people in Iran and Iraq and all these countries. Why do we have to be so insecure and say, no, we don't want to even talk to you? The thing is, if we did do this and brought these troops home, and just think of all those troops coming home, they get their paycheck. Guess where they would spend their paycheck? Here at home, not in Germany and Japan. You know, this would be a help. It would send a signal. The dollar would probably go up in value. Oil prices would probably drop as an immediate reaction. So I'm not talking about bringing troops home from the Middle East alone. It's time we came home from Korea and Japan and Europe. The first thing they do to us, you present these views, will be, oh, you're one of those isolationists. It's not isolationism. I think we've isolated ourselves from the world because we have more enemies and less allies than ever before. We've isolated ourselves with friendship and trade around the world. What we want to do is, you know, have a more open discourse with the world. Trade with people, be friends with people. This is what the founders advised. This is what the Constitution mandates. And you know, we were told so long, I was in the military for 5 years in the 60s, and we were always told if we ever left Vietnam, there would be a domino effect and the whole region would go communist. Well, you know, we left under terrible conditions, and we left too slowly because our people kept getting killed, and they kept getting killed. The French and Americans were in Vietnam telling them how to run their country for 20 years. Millions of Vietnamese were killed. Tens of thousands, 60,000 Americans were killed. And think of the French that were killed. And what did we do? Did we westernize Vietnam? No. But guess what has happened since then? They have become westernized. They trade with us. We invest over there. Their president comes and visits with us. Proving the point of the founders. Trade with people. Be friends with people. Try to influence people through peace. We achieved more in peace with Vietnam than we did in 20 years of fighting with Vietnam. Peace works. Which is not necessarily such a good consequence, but it is a consequence. Even China's become more capitalist. They have become our bankers because we have done such a lousy job in this country running our own economy. So this idea now that we cannot leave Iraq because there'll be chaos. I mean, what do we have over there now? I mean, it's a bit chaotic when we're involved, you know, daily in Afghanistan. And the people who say that we can't leave and who are cited all the time about never leaving are the ones who said, no sweat, we're going in there, we're going to protect the oil, we're going to promote democracy, and we're going to reform the Middle East and take care of everybody. And they said it'll be a cakewalk, it won't cost the Americans anything because the oil will pay for it. Well, just look at what they've done. The job was that, to protect our oil. So we went in there. The oil price was $27. Today it's more than $127. That's the kind of achievement the American government has given us, the people of this country. Making these promises and running roughshod over us, overtaxing, over-regulating, over-inflating, over-borrowing, the whole works. And the magnificent discovery of this past year is the American people in large numbers are waking up and discovering they're getting a bum rap. And it's time for a change. Others have talked about change, but we're probably we are a lot more specific. Those others who talk about change, are they talking about getting rid of the Federal Reserve and getting rid of the income tax and bringing our troops home? No, it's the same old stuff, and it's the same old intervention. You know, I've made the statement, and it's a very sincere statement. If I were to be the president, which would be something that we have been striving for, ironically, it's based on the fact of the things I don't want to do. I don't want to run your life, and I don't want to run the economy, and I don't want to use your wealth and your lives to run the world. That's not our purpose. I would do something new and strange. I would continue to read the Constitution diligently and hold everybody's feet to the fire and say, obey the law of the land. One person can't do that. The only thing that does that is when the people decide they want change, and I think that's what's happening. You know, we got over 1 million votes in the primary. Not too bad. A lot more votes than a couple other individuals who were painted early on by the media as being the front runners. You know that former mayor, he was a front runner for about 6 months. And I think we got 5 times as many votes as he got, and now he has a death and he's working. Besides, he's had a lot of time to read those books I sent over to him. So this year has been great. We've had this over 1 million votes. We are still going to get a few more because it hasn't ended yet. But there are a lot more than the 1 million votes that voted in the Republican primary. Believe me, the people I meet and see around the country and meet at the airports, they're not people who voted in the Republican primary. Some of them just don't feel very comfortable voting in the Republican primary. But it is true. There are a lot of people there. They're independents, they're Democrats, they're people who have not gotten involved yet, but they know there's something wrong, and they know that we're on to something. They know the importance of ideas, and they're very, very sympathetic. That is why it is so important that our meetup groups, the people like you who are throughout the country, and this is a very strong area, that when the campaign is over, that it's only the beginning of the next campaign to take the same organization and pursue these goals any way you can figure out. Local politics, getting involved in the party, running for office, supporting other candidates. There's so much to be done. And the one thing for sure, it will not be centrally run. There will not be one individual or one group of people sending out marching orders. There will be help at the national level. There will be help when we have a new committee to join and to help organize and bring people together.